Hey everybody, I have a very special guest again with me. My friend Catherine is here to talk with us about how important parental involvement is in speech therapy. So stay tuned. So like I said, I have an amazing and wonderful guest. My friend Catherine is here to talk with us, and she is a speech language pathologist, and we've done other videos together. So if you haven't checked those out, make sure you check those out. Do that first.
Yep.
But today we're talking about how important parental involvement is,
Yes.
because I know we spoke about this a little before, and I know it's kind of hard sometimes for parents to recognize that something could be wrong with their child, and also recognize that it's at no fault of their own.
Absolutely.
But there are things they can do to make it better and
Yes.
to make it heal faster. Just like in therapy, a lot of my clients, I have them do work at home because it helps them, and we're relearning new techniques. Is it
Carryover.
similar? Yeah.
I'm all about the carryover. All about it. Yeah, absolutely. You know, of course, it all depends on what the child is working on, what their deficits are, what their strengths are. It really all depends. A lot of times parents feel that, this is what they've told me, that's why I know this, that they don't really have time, you know, after school and after the after school activities to sit with their kid after homework and now to be doing speech language activities. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. Yes, granted, we like to give out worksheets and things like that to take home and to practice certain words that need to be, you know, drilled.
Yeah.
100%, those do exist. But a lot of times it's very easy to just do things around the home. And if you ask if your child is receiving speech therapy, do not hesitate to ask your speech therapist. Like, hey, what did you guys do on this session? Blah, blah, blah. Great. What can I do to help at home?
Okay.
And it's really easy things. For example, so generally in speech therapy, what we work on is expressive language, which is the ability to communicate your wants and needs, and also receptive language. So it's things that you can understand from readings, from conversation, things that you, the information that you retain.
Okay.
So let's say I'm working with a little kid on following directions. 1 to 2 step related and unrelated directions.
Okay.
That'll be a goal. So that's what we work on. That doesn't mean mom has to go home and sit with him at a desk and make him do directions and draw lines and do worksheets. It doesn't have to be that way. You could do something like during, if the child likes to help you during laundry. Hey, little Billy, give mommy the sock. He gives it, boom, 1-step direction practice.
Perfect.
Now give mommy the black sock and the white shirt. Boom, you're following 2-step directions and you're addressing colors. Show me the hat and then the shoe. Now he's following directions. He's working on his receptive, you know,
Understanding what a hat,
of
a shoe is.
yeah, clothing,
Okay.
the differences, and he's pointing, he's identifying. So many different things that you could do. Or even if you go to the park with your child and let me see you go up the slide, down the slide, and then, you know, on the swings.
Which they love to do
Which they love to do anyway. But just have them do it in the order that you say. And that's working
Interesting.
on it right away. So it's parental involvement is key. You absolutely need to carry over the lessons that the speech therapist does in the class. I mean, in the classroom and, you know, therapy room, wherever it may be. You have to carry over the lessons at home, or else the progress will be, it'll be there, but it'll be slow.
Yeah.
And not
it's
as
hard.
effective. It gets harder.
Yeah, especially if you're only seeing them. If my clients don't do their homework that I give them or work on things that I'm having them work on, and I only see them once a week, we're moving, but it's very
And you can
slow.
always tell.
Yeah.
You always have those parents like, oh yes, we sit every day and we do them. Do we do it? And I'm like, really? Well, he's worse than last week. So
Somehow we're going back.
Clearly not. Yeah. So parental involvement and being honest about parental involvement is huge. So, I mean, we all have lives. We all have busy schedules. It's impossible to do all these activities with your kid every single time you're with them. Every time they speak, you're going to address certain issues. It's not realistic. It's not natural. The child's going to feel pressure. They're going to start becoming like, they're going to resist therapy. They're going to resist that whole aspect of it. And you don't want that.
Yeah.
So just incorporate these things. And again, I gave 2 examples. Your speech therapist can give you 20,000 more.
And I think the most important thing is also like remembering that you're not alone. That's very common.
Yes, speech impediments and speech language therapy in general is very, very common. Just to give a few statistics, between 6 and 8 million people in the United States have some sort of speech language impairment.
Wow.
Okay? About 3 million people stutter. Huge. That's a huge thing.
And I
in
did a
speech
video
therapy.
on that. If you haven't heard about it, you can click here and watch it. But
There you
I
go.
have friends that are adults that still struggle with stuttering.
Yeah. And when speaking of children, between 6 and 8% of children, little kids, have some sort of speech language disability as well. So your kid is not the only one. Believe me, when I go to school, I don't go for one child for a half-hour session. I see 10 kids. You're not going to be the only one. And also, when the therapist, I also want to point out, I know a lot of parents have expressed to me that they feel that their child feels like they're being kind of secluded.
Oh, like pulled out of class to do
Pulling
this.
out of class or like brought to the side, that they feel that they're different. I can promise you that that is very rarely, if never the case, because when I go into these daycares and I go into these schools, I get charged by all the kids. What toys did you bring? Can I play? Can I play? They don't look at the child as, oh, something's wrong with them, especially when they're like
They think he's getting
3,
special
4 years
attention.
old. Yeah, they're not like saying, oh, something's wrong with that kid, pointing fingers. No, they're thinking, wow, somebody's coming over to him specifically or her specifically, bringing all these cool toys that we don't get to play with. Like, no fair.
They're jealous.
They're jealous.
Yeah.
They're jealous. So it's never seen as like a negative thing to their peers. It's always like, I want to play too, and
That's
I
good
can't.
to know. Because people
Yeah.
do worry. I mean, I could think that I might feel that as a parent. That, like,
Exactly.
maybe they're not getting to play as much as the other kids, or they feel like they're different. I don't want them to feel different, you know?
Be open to it, 100%. Be open to therapist suggestions, even if they seem kind of weird and outlandish. Just keep an open mind, because all that we want to do is to help you and help your child, and for your child to get out of speech therapy as fast as possible. We don't want you around for 10 years.
Yeah.
we wanted to do our job, show that we did an amazing job, and on your way you go.
Perfect.
So the faster we can address everything and the more open parents are to our suggestions, the better. You guys are definitely not alone in this.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for taking
Of
the time
course.
to share all this wonderful information with all my viewers.
Absolutely.
And I will put the links to the other videos so you don't want to miss out on those. And hopefully we can do this again.
Absolutely.
See you next time.